Hello and welcome to our TrackEd Junior training video where we're going to demonstrate how to import data into TrackEd. So I have here a dummy data set that I've pre-prepared. These are all ready and saved in a folder ready to import into TrackEd. Now to prepare your own data, in each case we have a little information button which has step-by-step instructions about how to go about preparing your data, which tabs and options to choose, and which format to save the files in before you import them into TrackEd. So I'm going to assume you've gone through each of these, you've prepared the data that you'd like to import, and you have it ready to go, and we're going to show you how to do that. So in step one here, you can insert file, or you can simply just drag and drop the data onto the box. And then step two is to choose the appropriate button to import. Okay, in each case we're doing a backup of the file into a backup folder within the TrackEd directory. And when we're doing the subject results, we're after the term and year that the data was from. So these are my current year 9s, and this is their year 8 data. So from 2014, this is term 1. It's important here as well, if your school doesn't report by term but by semester, that you still choose the correct term number. So semester 1 will be term 2 and semester 2 will be term 4. So I'm just going to proceed and import this. We get a review page here where we can have a look that we've got the correct data that we're trying to import. I'll press import now, and it's creating the students, the subjects and the results for these students that we're importing now. And depending on the size of your cohort, depends on how long this takes. So ours is finished now, and when I go back into my 2015 cohort, I can see that my year 8 term 1 is now filled in with data for each of the students in my set. Okay, I'll go back to the import page. Just a note on the subject summary, you can actually do multiple cohorts at a time. So when you're preparing this data, go back as far as you want history for your current subjects, for current students, and import your data that way, doing multiple cohorts as you go. So the second import I'm going to do is the NAPLAN summary, and I've got the year 3 summary here. Now it's important to note that the first two imports actually create the students. So if you don't have interim results yet, for say your year 7s who have just arrived, you can use the NAPLAN summary to create new students in the system. So it's important to do one of the first two imports first, and then you can work through the rest of the list in whatever order you'd like. So I'll start with my year 3, and I'll choose the NAPLAN summary import. Okay, backup complete again. Go to my review page. Now in this case, we're looking for when the test was taken. So for these students, that was 2009, and they were in year 3 at the time. Hit OK. That just helps us to match up the students to the correct columns, and also helps us to set the exit year for those students as well. So we'll head back to import and we'll work our way through the NAPLAN summaries so we get them all in there. So we'll choose 2011 this time, and year 5, go. And then for the next one, NAPLAN summary, okay, backup, okay, review, import, this will be 2013, and they were in year 7. And back to the import page, we'll do the year 9s. I've opened up the file, there we go, that's better. Backup complete. Import, and that's this year, 2015, year 9. So now when we go back into our profile page, we've actually got a full history of NAPLAN over that time, all color-coded by the years. The bands are color-coded by the band within that year as they've gone through. Okay, we'll continue with our imports. We've got an attendance and behavior list, and with this one we can actually auto-archive students. So if they're not in the attendance and behavior list, we'll hit OK. When you import it, it actually gives you the option to auto-archive the students who are not there. So I'm going to hit OK. And if there were any students who weren't in that list, they would have been archived out with that one as well. Now, there's a few things get added with that report. We actually bring in the recent semester results as well. So that's a useful import to do for new students where you may not have any interim results yet, but you do or can get the recent semester results even from previous schools. Right, we'll keep moving through our imports here. Item response, I'll leave that one go for the moment. The import pat. So we can actually do that with tracking templates, and I'm going to do that with the tracking template this time. So I'm going to grab my pat m, drag it in, and tracking template import. Okay, import. We get to label this one for the tracking template purposes. So this was a pat m, but we might have done that in March 2015, for example. So that can be my label. And when I go in here, we've put that information into two places. So that's in the pat m results here, but it's also in our tracking template import when we choose the pat m. That's come up in this list also. Okay, back to the import page. We've got coaching notes here, so you can actually get a blank template, or from the list view you can choose coaching export, and that will export to your desktop a coaching notes template with the student names and IDs for the current found set of students that you're looking at. And then you can fill in coaching notes and internal notes, and you can drag those in as an import as well. Okay, we've got an ID matching tool, which is very useful for first name, last names fed into the system, and we can then return IDs in exactly the same order. So it's just a good way to get IDs into a template. And we've got an import student photos option here. So you point that to a directory with student photos in them. It's important to choose photos of an appropriate size. If you use very large photos, you'll end up with very large PDFs out of the system. Look, we've spent a fair bit of time to try and make this import process as easy as possible. We've got useful tips here, we've got the step-by-step instructions, we've got online videos such as this one. If you do have any questions at all, just drop us a line at inquiries@trackedapp.com.au. Thanks.